Balancing life, studying, work, job applications can sometimes leave you feeling a little bit like this, stressed or even overwhelmed. And with the world looking a little bit different from what it used to, it's okay to have days where we're not as productive, but some of us still strive for balance. So here's some tips on how to plan and manage your time so you have a few more days where you feel a bit more like this, positive and uplifted. Hi everyone and welcome to my first video in collaboration with lawcareers.net, and today's video is going to be a good one. Well, I always say that, but it's going to be a good one. So if you don't know who I am, hi, I am Dani, aka Dani the Barrister. I am an aspiring barrister who's currently taking it a year out after the GDL, and I'm prepped to do the bar course this year, 2021, in September. And that's basically a good, quick, brief, sweet summary of who I am. And you'll get a video from me every month, and then you'll get a corresponding video on my channel, Dani the Barrister, with further tips or expanding on the topics that I've spoken about on this channel. So remember to go over to my channel as well, Dani the Barrister. And with that, remember to like this video if you like these kind of videos, and to subscribe to lawcareers.net as well. And of course, go over to my channel if you can and subscribe over there, because I would really appreciate that a lot. The topics that I'll be covering in this video, I'll put it up here so that you know what to kind of expect, and hopefully I'll put the timestamps if I can. And then the further 3 pointers or 2 pointers that I put down here are what you can expect from the video on my channel. Let's get into the first tip. When it comes to time management, it's kind of a weird thing, and it's very personal, of course. So whatever I say now is just... it's just things that you can adapt and implement into your life and consider when wanting to manage your time. Obviously, with time management, one of the most important things to do is planning how you're actually going to manage that time, right? That's time management. When I talk to people or like see videos like this on YouTube, I see people come from an already structured idea of their time already. Like, how do you start? How do I start? I dedicated time to plan, and as I said, when you're in a chaotic period of your life, if that's how things may be, or you're just not sure on how to kind of start off that planning and start off that phase, I suggest having a morning and an evening routine. A very good way to creep myself into planning my time and dedicating time to plan. Start with my evening routine. Just to give an example, with me personally, in the evening, that's when I started planning my long-term goals, or the things that I need to do in a month or a year and things like that, or even like in a week or two. That's where I sat down and wrote down everything that I needed to do in that time. So with my morning routines, that's when I planned my daily tasks. You waking up, having a coffee, having a herbal tea, reading a book, journaling, and then spending 2 minutes, 5 minutes, however long that you want to dedicate to planning for that day, but plan for that day. Which sounds funny, to plan, but you gotta plan to plan, right? Something that I'm gonna touch on more when I speak about planning by emotion, but the idea that having this morning routine for me and having this nighttime routine alongside it meant that I could also be more relaxed. And the importance of that was that I could actually focus enough to effectively deal with my time in that day. I felt like times where I didn't dedicate a moment to myself and a moment to kind of refresh or awaken and like plan my life in the days meant that I just jumped into the day very chaotic, very crazy, and that induced stress, and then I just didn't manage my time the ways that I wanted to, and I didn't progress as efficiently or as effectively as I wanted to. So having that morning and evening routine where I could plan already like settled me ready for the day, and then in turn effectively be in the right headspace to manage your time properly. My next pointer is still an obvious one, but it's still one that is important to stress, in my opinion. Knowing that you're going to set yourself tasks for that day is kind of like the first step of planning your time and managing your time effectively. And I personally use a 3x5 system. It's a system where I do 3 must-dos and then 5 can-dos, and then I kind of filter through those throughout the day in a particular way that kind of suits me personally. And whenever I consider time management, I obviously consider planning by time, but that also means prioritizing, right? It's understanding what is urgent and what is not urgent. And I think that requires a bit of work. I think more work than most people kind of let on, I feel. It requires you to really understand what your syllabuses are, to understand how you work, to understand what's available to you, what resources you have, and altogether you can kind of put together a plan of urgencies. Plan and understand what resources and things you have around you then dictates whether something is urgent or not. In turn, these things help manage your time essentially. Even though I am doing this video on time management, I do think it's still important to stress that we're in an unprecedented time, and this probably more applies to people that are studying still and have a lot of job applications and other applications to give in. But even if you are someone that finds yourself having a lot of free time recently, there's probably still things you can implement from what I'm saying, if you want to, into your life to make it a bit maybe productive, or just generally a bit more positive and allow you to have more control over your life and time. So I do think these tips and tricks are still things that can be helpful for anyone. Thank you so much for watching this video, and remember to go over to my channel, Dani the Barrister, for the extra video that gives you a bit more pointers, a few more tips, expands on a few topics. And I shall see you in my next video here next month with lawcareers.net. But until then, see you later. Bye.